Welcome back, those of you who are new. We are going to do a Divine Partnership check-in energy read. I did put a video up ahead of time so you guys get the notification. Now, some of you aren't getting the notifications because when we're doing live, you actually don't get the notifications. So I'll try and do these videos. We'll check the community tab. Those of you who have been avid supporters, thank you very much. If you don't know, I'm a psychic medium as well as a twin flame. Now, I have done separate videos, so if you are new and you're joining, I've done twin flame videos. It's because of the way that the settings are. So at the moment, they're changing systems behind the scene. They're also doing, how do I put it? They're doing changes, so to speak, the way we edit our videos. At the moment, when you upload, yes, you do get a notification. So that didn't help me this month because, alas, I do them all live and you do not get notifications during live sessions. So if I'm doing a live session, I will literally give you a heads up and you will get the bell and then you will know I'm here. So apologies to those of you who haven't been getting the notifications. But we will look into the energy. Now, I currently am in the 6th. So we already have moved through, well, because it's now 12:22. Hi, Angela. We are in the energy of the Aquarian moon. Now, listening to different aspects of astrology and connected to our spiritual path, a lot of the downloads that have come to me do make sense. Now, one thing is for sure is that the Neptune energy denotes, delusions, illusions, okay? So theoretically, I put quite a comedy piece up there, and those of you who didn't actually see it in the community tab, I've put it on Facebook and Instagram, and it's, you know, we really, really at the moment need to be very, very careful about what we're saying. And if you notice for the other videos, I was very cautious about the way I explain things. Now, one thing that is going to be new that I am adding, we are coming back to the old way of doing things, and it's going to be love in general, and I may even focus on career. Now, for the twin flame path, where we are right now, I will do the regular check-in similar to what we're going to do today, as well as I'm going to start creating tools to help you guys. As we know, you tune into the negative, you manifest the negative. So when we're looking at the path and we're wondering what they're doing, that's actually not helping our process. And there's hundreds of YouTubers that can do that, okay? So I'm shifting the frequency onto the informative videos, which in my opinion, as a twin, it's what helped me. Actually looking at the pattern in my journey, understanding what I can do. So the energies as I get psychically, I will give them to you. And I will, they will be toolkits to actually deal with that, okay? So I feel energetically they're more important, and these live sessions, I'll continue to do them. Obviously, I'm transitioning and there are a lot of things happening, but I'm not leaving you guys in the lurch. With the Aries energy, the thing is, what you're going to find is a lot of you are in panic mode, and that's about, are you on the right path? Now, interestingly enough, listening to a lot of astrologers, doing a lot of meditation on my side of the fence, where are you coming to a place that you have been working on a path in general, and all of a sudden you've said, oh my gosh, I'm scared. Houston, we have a problem. Okay, we're usually scared because we work so hard on it, and perhaps potentially we haven't seen an outcome, so we're scared. So we're saying, hey, there's got to be an easier way of doing this. Yes, there is release. It's not release of the issue. It's not release physically of the person. I mean, because, you know, if they're not next to you, you're not releasing them energetically, they're in your heart. It's release the feelings that you need to sort it. As soon as you do that, that does shift the frequency. A lot of us, because of what we listen to in the astrology, tend to feel we're on the incorrect path. Now, not necessarily, how do I put it? And I'm using my words very carefully, and that is because of aspects of manifestation at the moment. Everything this week has been very synchronistic of when I thought something, 2 seconds later it's happened. Now, my twin does not eat beautiful, healthy food like most feminines that have gone through their ascension and eat vegetarian. And I was going through an app the other day on the phone and I'm going, okay, yes, he would eat that, he would eat that, he would eat that. And I'm going, I can't find anything healthy in here. I walked inside and I was like, oh no, maybe it'll come to me. And I made myself a tuna salad and he goes, can I have some? I'm just saying. So be really careful what you're thinking right now. It's happening very quickly. Be very careful of the words you're speaking, of the things you're saying. They're happening very soon. There is a shift, yes, energetically, and you do have to be very careful about what you're thinking, how you're speaking. If it feels complicated and you're mulling over the problem, we need to somehow find more positive ways to look at it. But sometimes we need to do that after the fact of the purge. But I am pre-warning you guys to be very careful about what you're thinking, because high frequency and lower frequency, they're still coming through in a manifestation, okay? I am seeing a big shift, but obviously there's a process to the situation. So some of you may be thinking, because you've had no contact or because things aren't moving, in your opinion, because of visual, that energetically shifts aren't happening. This shift energetically happens in us because, okay, the Capricorn and the Cancer energy with the nodes at the moment, we're all deeming it very much as a family-orientated frequency. But the one thing we've missed, and it's not because of what Cancer is noted as and the Capricorn frequency, of which I've been explaining to you, is the energy of accountability, assertiveness, dealing with accurate, etc., etc. The one thing we've missed is the transit with our spiritual path, which is Taurus and Uranus. What we're missing is, yes, there's always the external, and you need to look at the blocks and path. I think it's really interesting that this was missed. In our pathway, it's always been taught that we need to drop codependency. And it's not to say that these needs and aspects in our life aren't such, as in a requirement, part of our life, part of the 3D. But what we're missing is the purging we did last year should be giving us this clarity this year, not what your mother wants, not what your children want, not what your partner wants. What do you want? And that's the one singular energy we haven't looked at. We've thought of perhaps what another person isn't doing, what another person needs to do, potentially. What we feel our job, obligation, what we think maybe is the path, but have we disconnected enough to actually sit there and go, aside from society, what is in our higher good and what do we want? And sometimes it might not look right, okay? It might look more like that's not appropriate or that's not fair. But if you do that, what will happen is when you reach that point, that is the cycle that hasn't been broken. So if you're doing something on a basis of it's my responsibility, it's my obligation, that is a frequency that doesn't last. And if it isn't in your higher good of something that you actually want, what you will get at the other side of it is another 7-year cycle. So you've got to be super careful to actually choose what you're walking towards, okay? There will be interesting frequency coming through of people being very frustrated. You can be triggered. For me, the Aries energy has been very reflective and looking at something from a different side of the fence. There definitely movement. We're going to see the overall energy of what we're guided to know. I suggested you'll tell to a few. Thank you. At the moment, they are having issues with the subscriber count. So if any of you are a YouTuber on here and you're freaking out about your channel and you're going, what's going on with the subscribers? The subscriber count is being dealt with at the moment, so it won't reflect what you truly have. And I appreciate anyone that does refer, especially if you feel it is going to help. It's just a number after all, but I do appreciate you all. Okay, let's see what's coming through. What I am sensing is there is obviously a lot of meditation. There's also, from a healing point of view, even when you reach reunion, union, whatever you want to call it, you know, don't get caught up by that because that's a blockage and how would I put it? A tag, so to speak, and we need to step away from tags. The one thing in the journey that it is actually trying to take us away from is that we need to come to a place where we don't need to put things in boxes, because we're actually breaking out of those paradigms. So it's very interesting that, and that's pretty much why I called this video Divine Partnership. And you can even look at it very singularly from your own energy point of view, because divine partnership should be with yourself. Okay? It needs to come to a point where you have a very, very healthy relationship with yourself. That I do want to interview some people, obviously, on the channel. So if you are interested, you know, put a note in, and I'll try and get you on the new app that I've got, because I do find when I do communicate with other twins and we talk about blockages, that's where a lot of the solutions are. You know, if you can actually hear how we converse and we break things down, actually understanding where our blockages is when we speak can actually help you understand certain kind of trigger points and viewpoints emotionally that you physically have that potentially you don't actually know. If that makes sense. Because they do block us. You know, when we talk about unconditional love, we actually need to ask whether we're accepting that into ourselves. You know, because when we are moving through a process of a journey with a person or with our life in general, we are showing unconditional love to people, but then the trigger points come up and we then purge that and have that understanding and compassion. The one thing that we haven't been doing is potentially looking on our side of the fence and going, oh, are people unconditionally loving us? And it's not that we can change them, but our benchmark does need to have that as, hey, that I am worthy of that. So, you know, both parties and energies directly around you need to be showing that, because not one of us is perfect. So unfortunately, the reality is when you're actually on your path, you do tend to find if you have anger towards the situation, it won't reach a point where communication will open, because vibrationally speaking, you're not, your frequency isn't high enough to cope with it. Because if you were to have any more bombardment of energies to help purge you, you wouldn't be in alignment to cope with that. You wouldn't be in alignment to see the perspective in a different way to return to that frequency. So, you know, a lot of times when you're looking at videos, what you're actually not understanding is, think of yourself as a battery, that you are that telephone call, you are that frequency, that you're actually directly sending that transmission through. So while you're at a frequency of anger, they're not going to turn around and come around because they can sense that vibration, and it means that you haven't healed yet. So look at it in a way where they're not trying to disrespect you, because they vibrationally sense that field. Okay, issues that are going to come up at the moment is many of you are wanting to take a leap of faith. You're wanting to move into a new situation. And again, like I mentioned previously, the moon energy at 0 degrees last month was the Libra moon. We are moving towards the next Libra moon around the 19th, okay? There is a void for about 5 days. Don't quote me, but I'm pretty much, from the chart I saw, it's 5 days. Now, in the Aries frequency, it'll be, yes, potentially you're looking at some wounds that you have, but knowing that you can't go back to a way you were doing things before. So you do need to, because if you go back, it's staying safe, right? If you're moving forward, even if you don't know what's coming, because the 0 degree point for a lot of people, you know, with the moon energy, it's the unknown. So it's like walking into a forest after being through hell and then going, what now? Try not to take that attitude, but understand the vibration. When I mention pain body experience, it's triggers you've had in yesteryears, and suddenly another aspect comes up and it's kind of reminding you of that, and you're going, I don't want to go through that again. It's not to say that the next chapter is going to be like that, but you need to be open to that and in high vibration enough that you know no matter what, you will land on your own 2 feet and it doesn't define you. But while it does, and it's your only access, twin, a job, a person, a way of being, it prevents you from being open to that, and it will make you scared. And then the people around you, not just twin, people around you will directly show you those blockages in your life to help you remove them so you can be free to move forward. the outcome of that scenario is a lot of you potentially might be scared. You know, I'm hearing that, and this to me reminds me of ascension. It reminds me of when we're having a spiritual upgrade, some of you might be with the direct situation of taking the leap of faith very scared, okay? What is this going to mean? What is it going to look like? How will it feel? Will it turn out okay? Again, negative tones. Luciana, my girlfriend, mentioned to me 2 days ago, you know, a lot of us were having a purge. Instead of stating what you don't want, state what you do want. And I sat there and I was like, very abrupt, wrote the comedy post, because to me, some aspects of healing do correlate with comedy. If you can't have a laugh, you're not raising your frequency. So comedy for me does help that, especially in a non-amusing situation. When you can come to a place that you can write things, all I had was Messenger, so I messaged myself because I didn't have a pen and paper, and I was like, right, let's try this theory. And I wrote down list after list what I wanted with my life, with my love, with everything. And I released it, and a lot of the frequency today did shift. Yet, vibrationally speaking, we do need to breathe through our trigger points. Now, some of you, again, maybe due to this fear factor and the frequency, actually be having panic attacks, feeling very overwhelmed. Unfortunately, when we are in that frequency, and there is a lot going on, so there's a lot of people around that potentially could be demanding on you. It could be giving you recollection of last year and saying to yourself, well, we're going to go through the same thing this year. No, we're not. But that's all free will, right? And we keep mentioning this. You can always shift gears, okay? You can always, but you need to listen to your body. So if you're needing to rest, don't burn yourself out. Don't be hard on yourself. Work in life comes down to you and external. So what's on your side of the fence? What's on the other side of the fence? A lot of you have a lot of burdens at the moment. So the outcome of taking this leap of faith, and it could even be with your counterpart, is there going to be responsibility? Are you resting enough to be prepared for that? Are you getting your side of the fence sorted so you're open to that? Just being open to that. But a lot of you are very scared of this factor. Your self-worth at the moment is coming down to where are your strengths and weaknesses. Now, again, it's quite interesting that the strength card has come up. There is a Leo moon coming up, and I'll try and remember the date. I'll write it down now because I am feeling it's correlating with this time frame. Might have been moving into the Aries moon. Leave it with me. I'll have a look. Regardless, it is about us actually knowing where we're worth it. It's like we might be underselling ourselves. We might be saying, hey, maybe I'm not strong enough. Fear-based frequencies, when really your self-worth is, well, don't think it's going to be a battle. Think you already have it won. Does that make sense? Again, it's the way I was writing, the way I was thinking, the way I was purging, and then, coming back to it, okay, grounded now, let's write what we want, not what we don't, what we want. Same thing, self-worth, solar plexus, sacral chakra, where your power is, where you actually don't have to fight for your right. You don't, because you're worth it. You can have everything you want, but you've got to believe that. It's interesting because I feel if there's any toxicity around you, I'm going to pull a clarifier on this because I think it's got 3 stories. Some of you might be experiencing blocks due to other people's energy, and a lot of the frequency at the moment as empaths, and it's interesting because my lovely friend Carmen has launched a channel, and we were talking about this aspect, and she did a video on it, so I'll have to share it. Now, okay, The energies where we're looking at potentially karmic energies, and I don't like talking about it, but again, because energetically it's coming up, the thing is, there she is, she's right there, that's her new channel. The thing is, what we have to understand, when we can get to a higher frequency, if we actually look back at our path, how we used to be, the reason why potentially energies that are frustrating us is because we once lived energies as such. Or we never had the ability to do that because we didn't have a completely codependent pattern. So karmics energetically, due to the fact that there may have been blockages personally in self-worth, in their energy, it's like trying to find the next goalpost, right? It's like that'll fill my cup. And this energetically is what we do as people, as well as twins. And that's what potentially much of the purge is. It's trying different ways. Although you were learning each way, there's other energies in a karmic frequency that were chosen for a portion of the path, but they also were energetically out of alignment, so to speak, because they didn't know the inner power they had. So we potentially, to a degree, can choose. And that's the frustrating thing, is that we could be falling back into a frequency similar to a triggered person. And it's horrible because especially when you're in self-awareness, you're like, wow, I'm operating at a different frequency right now, and this isn't quite naturally like me. So where is this coming from? It can be profuse anger out of nowhere. Interesting energies that we may have had in yesteryears that have come back like they were just yesterday. So some of the energy is transmuting through from external sources, but this is very much the Neptunian energy, okay? So it can be screaming, it can be jealousy, it can be anger, it can be the word hate. Hate. I know, dirty word, right? And we're going, I thought we had moved past this. Where's that come from? Because we're channeling the collective. It's a purge, it's the fair, and this is going to help us have compassion and go, ooh, okay? So the way I explained it was, and it's when something has happened that is very bad, and you do look at what has happened in a relationship, a soulmate connection, a twin flame path, if there has been an external energy, what you need to understand is look at this person as a different person just for a second. And I do not wish to offend, but it needs to be said. Look at them as a person that doesn't know their power. And they're trying to fill their cup, which is what we have to learn through ascension. And they're like, if I get that, I'm going to be full and it will be enough. And they get it and then they're not. But see, for me personally, as an empaths as well, we tend to give thinking we're not worthy. Whereas a karmic will tend to take, potentially manipulate, because they do not understand their worth. So it's the same thing, but it's the polar opposite. Do you understand what I'm saying? So when they're needing to fill, they move forward. When they're needing to fill, they move forward, and it's still empty. But regardless, it's similar to all of us collectively. At some point, certain dynamics, i.e. Pluto and Saturn, which is happening this month quite scarily, so we will have to learn, okay? So how they learn, when they learn, is their path, and yes, it might have hurt you, but to have compassion that you don't know what you're doing when you're operating from this frequency. I mean, now we're looking at it after ascending and we're going, why am I acting like a bitch? Why am I triggered? Why am I angry? This isn't me. I've done work on myself. This is helping us see this. Ah, aha. Light bulb moment. Bing, bing, bing. Yeah. So this is all because these people have had confusion, loss, separation, and the trigger points and the anger is being transmuted through the feminines. You're feeling it, girls. Doesn't have to be girls, okay? We can hold, whatever sex can hold that frequency. The sadness is going to go, okay? It's going to dissipate, but it needs to have its theoretical funeral, okay? It's time to end because you're moving forward. That could be a job, it could be a place, it could be a family member, whatever that karmic frequency is, the blockage and the painful experience that has caused that. Overall, the things that you call your tribe are going to become richer. They're going to become better, but you need to work together in a sense of knowing who you are to ascend, okay? So some of you potentially might have got really, really tired and having aspects of ascension. So getting sick, how do I put it? It can be anything from nausea, dizziness, ringing in the ears, feeling faint. Obviously, again, I always mention this, I'm not a doctor. Those of you who have been on the spiritual path, separately to that, you have your self-awareness to know what is and what isn't, okay? With that frequency, when you're having a purge, what will happen is it's almost like a walk-in. You'll have an energy where you'll get very tired and you'll be flat on your back. And then 24 hours, maybe even 12, you come good. And it's strange. It can be even your achy bones, sinuses, etc. And bang, it's gone like nothing. But it's due to the purge that you've had an upgrade because you've released a blockage to move physically forward. Many of you are going through this and you're getting into a higher frequency, which is great. What you wish for, and again, this is the sun energy, and remember the moon and the sun at the moment. The moon is in Aries. The sun is in Pisces, which is Neptune frequency. Don't be disillusioned by what you want. Now, the interesting thing is Neptune does bring about delusions. But the thing is, if you have been working on something for a long time, it's not a delusion. Don't get it twisted. Don't get sidetracked because Neptune also can bring in aspects of paranormal activity, entities to steer you off your path that you've walked. If you've been on that path for a very long time and only potentially in the last week you're going, you know what? Am I crazy? No, it's the Neptunian energy, okay? Also, I'm picking up the Pisces frequency of, yes, be in the happy moment, but keep your wits about you. The Pisces energy can also almost feel energetically a bit like Venus retrograde, rose-colored glasses. Be cautious. Keep your wits about you. Keep your eye on the goal. Know that this section of the transit is moving. There is a lot happening, and look at the card. I always pick up different energies. Planetarily, there's a lot happening, but it's boding in your favour, providing you stay in your higher frequency. And you don't stress if you get triggered. It's not going to end. Keep moving forward. Don't get stressed. Everything is divinely guided, even trigger points. Okay. Now, what will be coming up is what's blocking this happiness, right? So you're going to physically see who's trying to block this. And I do feel counterpart is also going to see what's blocking this, and it's probably going to piss them off. It's going to cause conflict. Even you guys having your happiness, it's going to cause conflict. You're ready. Other people, they're going to have to start making good choices. Maybe by you standing and leading by example, this is going to help that situation. But it may be that they're criticising, saying potentially you and counterpart is not making healthy decisions, or it could be family members that are saying this to you in general, collectively. It will get through the grapevine though, so you will actually hear about this and it will actually change the way in which you're handling these situations. What you're not saying is most of you are reaching this point. This is what you're not saying. So those of you who haven't had contact, I'd say within a week, some of you may start getting contact. Although Mercury is in shadow, I'm feeling the energy being so heavy that it's almost moving to the point where it will shift the frequency where, you know, this is what you're moving towards. And this was another point I wanted to make. Neptunian energy, delusions. Okay. Saturn and Pluto can denote endings. With the endings, what you need to understand, if this was something you had been working on for a very long time, and all of a sudden you're having these moments where you're going, I don't want this anymore. I wasn't going to do that. It's never going to work. The Neptunian energy is affecting you. Be careful, because this can be external entities and energies trying to slip you from your path. Okay? And it's, again, it is fear-based frequency feeding into our dynamic, feeding into our channel. Be cautious with that energy. White light yourself and write the storm out, okay? Just write it out and know that universe has your back. If you have a tower moment, it doesn't mean that your path is over. It means it's shifting it to be aligned. Don't give your power away. Choose what you want. It's not about your twin. What do you want? What feels correct for you? And limitations. Look, you're stronger than you know. If you've been through from 2016 to now and you're still here, you're fine, okay? It feels crap. It's shitty. I get it. I'm with you. Keep your eye on the goal, because this is the end goal. So when you're looking at the blockages and you're going, oh, because of this, because of this, because of this, it's like, yeah, okay, sweet. I get it. I do it myself. And then you stop and you reflect and you go, what's the end goal? That was the end goal. You're in a process through that. It might look complicated right now, but that's the end goal. It's not, okay, tomorrow, right, at 12:30, this is what's happening. It's like life doesn't work that way. That's the outcome. That's what you're working on. That's the outcome. That's the goal. That's the outcome. This stuff here, the conflict, other people really being indecisive, potentially even twin, regardless, it's an external energy. Gossip, conflict, again, end goal, union. Okay, masculine frequency, really using their intuition. Okay, they're awake. They know what they want. They're handling two areas in their life at the moment. Family-related dynamics, health, areas that are blocked. They're also dealing with their finances. They're doing both at the same time. Now, this is how it fell out. So it's like a double-sided sword, but they're dealing with a lot. So they're balancing the scales. You can even look at this as a scale by the Libran energy. We might, in a perspective sense, look at that and go, they're not doing the work. Actually, it's a tactical response. They're using their intuition. They know these people. They're using their smart. Okay? Feminines. Ask yourself, are you ready? Because that's what's blocking you. Some of you are looking, and this is always the way it happens. It's so funny because I've got to check myself often. Are you running energetically? Okay? If I said to you they were going to turn up tomorrow, how they stand, would you be ready? It's interesting because our gut drops when it's not. And we're like, oh. Okay? Are you open and ready? This is your energy. As soon as you are and you can turn that up right, you'll have that. You'll have that. But you're focused too much on what they're doing. Okay? That's why you're not ready. As soon as you shift that, and it can be, like I've said before, 5 minutes, 24 hours, you'll have communication, right? But you got to ask yourself, and it's not bad if you're not ready. That's fine. Keep doing the work. Get into alignment. It can take 24 hours. Don't put a time frame on it. Detach from time, number one. Strongest advice. Think about what you think is the blockage. Write it down. Think about what you think your blockages are and see if they match. And then look at how you can do work on your side to purge, okay? Like I said, I'll do videos separate to help you work through the path. Sacral chakra, solar plexus has been coming up a lot. Luciana's been telling me, I know it. Masculines as well have heart chakra. Now, it's interesting because I do feel these do swap, right? I feel energetically that both of you are dealing with both chakras. It's not that they're not upright. It's that at the moment they're both purging, okay? But not in a heavy way, sorry. I had to think about that then I was on no damn straight. In a heavy way. But it's not about, how do I put it? I'm going to pull an additional card. I'm not going to say it because I don't want to trigger anyone. Let's have a look at why. Let's ask our guides. Oh. You guys are so funny. You're doing the same bloody crap. Okay. And I thought it was that, but I wanted to confirm. Now, if you're worried that maybe their head is elsewhere, from a responsibility sense, that's it. They're deeply faithful. The heart chakra is that you have been very faithful to this heart. Okay, and again, the interesting thing, self-esteem. They didn't feel worthy. It's kind of sad. Why has this feminine been so faithful to me? Am I worthy? Is it real? Good old Neptune. Have words with Neptune. The feminines have this energy. We're receptively feeling it. But this comes down to us too because we're dual. For the feminines, it's not about anyone else. Yes, some of you actually wanted to go back to when you first met. And you're purging that. You know, were you worthy? Were you enough? You're realizing, yes, this blockage that's coming up is bringing up that old shit, right? This energy will kind of dissipate, okay? It will dissipate. But both these frequencies is coming through masculine and feminine. Really? That's nice. Bye. Okay. Now, what is coming through at the moment is that both of you are walking through this tunnel. Okay? Both of you are walking through. But, yeah, I can't be bothered with that. You might not be communicating it, but the full intent is happening. Okay? So it is moving through. Again, I am feeling that both of you are keeping this energy very quiet. Now, this could be if you're in communication, you're keeping your cards very close to your chest. It might be due to immature people around. It might be due to children. Okay, so it can be due to an external person. Karmic, potentially. Regardless of whether they were or weren't together. Can be to do with the child, can be to do with taking the innocence back into the connection, okay? But this is what's come up. Okay, I'll leave it at that. And I will come back again when I'm having any psychic downloads about the cards and I will give you an update. I was asked to come on. I did mention I was going to come on. And it is now 1 o'clock in the morning, so I'm going to go to bed. If you do want a booking and you want me to separately psychically tune into your energy where your blocks are to move it forward, come through, book a reading. Join the actual page at Yildiz Readings for the live sessions and you can ask questions. It's 1 o'clock in the morning. I would answer them tonight, but it's a bit early now. It's morning. And if you are wanting to join my website, when I have specials, i.e. specials on bookings and prices, you get an email and you'll get a notification, okay? I will come back later and look after yourselves. Break a leg for this transit.